when you get an idea and you want to do something, fucking try it. You might never get that chance again. There'll be people there that'll say, yes, well, go and check out the cost, the expenditure against the profit. Make sure you've got your business plan laid out. That's all true. But you know, underneath it, the biggest thing is to want to do it. It's to believe you can do it. And don't fucking take no for an answer.
So today I'm with Donald Macleod, who is the founder, chief exec, head boss, head honcho of CPL, which is a clubbing empire across...
And Holdfast. Now known as Holdfast, CPL looks after the live music side.
Could you tell us, like, how did you do this? Where did you start? Where did you start? How did you get here?
How did I get here? Well, oh God, that started in 1989. I decided to... I was playing a gig. I used to play in a band called The Crows, you know, that internationally famous band up there with U2, etc. You know. But we were playing a show out in the rock and roll capital of Scotland, Bathgate. The promoter came up to me, a friend, Tam Coyle, who used to run the rooftops in Glasgow, and came up and says, Donald, you know, you should try this. That's a big, you know, you'd be good at this. Try what? He says, promoting, man. I'm only here for a week. You should do a rock night or something like that. So I thought. Aye, let's give it a shot. Met the owner, he says, you keep the door money, I'll keep the bar. And I started in Bathgate, the Cat House. I came up with the name. I saw there was a wee club in LA called the Cat House, an iconic poodle rock club. And I decided, all right, borrowed their sort of logo, tarted it up a bit, ran around all these places around Armadale and Broxburn, stuck up posters, and then there was a queue going right up the street. It got busier and busier every week. That's how it basically started.
And how did you change it from being an independent club promoter, having a good time, to being a venue owner?
Back then, you never said no to anything. I think that's a mistake that's made by a lot of people. They think too hard on things. They don't go with impulse. And I always thought, you know, there's another wee venue coming up. Let's try that. A few gigs here and there. That was basically in my head. It was a journey. It was exciting. And you know what? I was nothing to lose. You know, basically, I was just to go back in the brew, you know. But back then, after about 6 months, I met what was to become a partner, Michele Pagliocca, who had run clubs for many years over here, an Italian guy, and we got on very well. And as I say, the partnership from that lasted for about 14 years. And it was something that said to us, well, let's go to Glasgow. I'm Claudio, let's try Glasgow. I said, oh, Glasgow, no, Glasgow. Oh, there's already rock clubs there. You know, I was quite happy, you know, getting my money played. I was still playing in a band, you know, thought, you know, this will help finance a wee tour here and there. But as it happened, I ended up over in Glasgow.
And was that a rock club you opened up?
A rock club called the Cat House. So that was my start. 2 clubs called the Cat House. So I'd do Bathgate and then drive over to Glasgow. And we went for 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights. And then the owners back then, for some reason there was a strange fire, and a wall bricked up when the fire got put up with the backbreakers behind it, you know. And that we ended up moving to a boat. The boat that used to be the Tuxedo Princess, so that was quite funny watching everybody sort of dancing about to Bon Jovi as it sort of like this. And we lasted about 6 months there, and then went back to the Cat House. We found out that it could be up for sale, so we leased it from a guy called Mr. Sitar. And he went off to do the Bank of Pakistan, and we sat there, and he was going to be away for a couple of months. And in between this, Glasgow Development, the GDA, popped in and said, well, look, we're going to be developing this place, and we're going to have to make a purchase order for it. Oh, really? Do you own it? Yes. So, of course we didn't, we leased it. They started doing all the paperwork to buy it from us, as we started to try and find out desperately when Mr. Sitar would be back from Pakistan. And this was good. And we got, he comes back, he'll be in the office 10 a.m, we can go up, we can say, right, we'll buy it for, say, 300 grand, right? And then we can run all the way down there. You're buying it from us for $500,000, right? And we'll move somewhere, because they'd also promised to get us another venue as part of the deal. It didn't quite go to plan, and we got a phone call saying, you bastards, how dare you, you tried to rip me up, you tried to steal my place. What we didn't know was that Mr. Sattar, apart from setting up the Bank of Pakistan, was also the head of the GDA. So he had walked into the office and he said, oh, I hear you're selling your place. What place? I'm a fucking... So they then tried to irritate our lease, and it was fun and games.
How many years into?
I think that would be three years, so a very quick 3 years. Yeah. But in between then, I should add that the cat house bands such as Pearl Jam had played. So CPL was in its embryonic stage. But again, as I say, all very new, all very young, all not really properly planned out with spreadsheets and different types of models and let's look ahead a year and all these sort of projections. No, we didn't do any of that.
Would you change that?
What?
Would you change it? Would you do it differently?
No. Not at all, and I would advise anybody that's out there that wants to do something is to do it. You know, if you're young enough and you can afford to take the hit, or you're not bothered about taking the hit, go for it. Go for your dreams. Live your life. Live your moment. I think that's still the case now as it is then, regardless of computers, regardless of technology. You have to stick your neck above the parapet. You have to. You know, really have the drive and energy. If you want something, go and get it. You know what? It's not as hard as you think it's going to be.
What were the hard things?
I think adapting, I suppose, to people called bankers, what they wanted from you. Everything was very easy. As the company growth really accelerated. It was every year it was getting bigger, and there was another unit maybe getting added, or bigger bands. Obviously, our funding requirement, our cash flow requirements were getting bigger, but we were still making a return on the money. I think at first, after the first 5 years, we were turning at 17 million a year. It was such a journey. It was exciting. We were suddenly doing the bars for the tall ships down at Greenock. All the big boats coming into Greenock. Going up to Shetlands with them. We were also doing, I suddenly found myself putting, along with a couple of others, doing Loch Lomond with Oasis. Because Oasis was one of the first bands that we had that played the Cat House as well, and we just started to build from there. I think at one point I was doing about 300 shows a year. It was bigger than DF concerts. It was bigger than regular music. At that point, it was just everything. Nothing was. It wasn't a problem. It was dynamic. People were then phoning you because they know you'd say yes. Which, try not turn things down. If there was a glint there, explore it, look at it, try and take it on. You just don't know where it's going to lead.
So it sounds like, you went from promoting a
Friday night
gig in Bathgate to a business that's turning over 17 million a year.
Yeah.
At what point did you go, fuck me, this is serious? Or did you even realise? Oh no,
I realise. You're realising it's serious, but I think the wake-up call comes when you hit trouble. The banks were very easy back then. It was all going smoothly. But then McKelly and I started to fall out. I had 14 years together, probably the most successful partnership in Scotland when it comes to sort of nighttime economy. At that point, we could have marched on and marched bigger and blah blah blah, but it was a fractious relationship at the end, and so we decided to split it up, and we split the company up. But I think we had about 7 units at that point. Restaurants, restaurants, clubs. We also had CPL, which was huge. And other little things. McKelly had a biscuit company, Italian biscuits, so that's how mad it became. But then we had a staff, I think, about 300. Everything just kept growing, but of course, so did the costs. I think the big wake-up definitely was after we'd split up, we'd bought each other out. Then, of course, the banking crisis starts to come along, and words like EBITDA started getting flung at us. What? And fucking EBITDA. Banks then changed, as we all know. through their own mistakes, they started to blame everybody else for their own folly and their own spendthrift ways. And unfortunately, our bank at the time, Bank of Scotland, like many did, decided to hike up interest rates and penalise their customers, which can't stand them now. You can't stand banks for that. They're an evil necessity for many businesses, but they've basically fucked us as they fucked many people back then. Suddenly they're saying, well, you've got 10 million, you owe. No, I don't. and so suddenly there was like, you were asset stripped, they were starting to asset strip you, forcing you to sell. This is a gradual process. So by 2012, 2013, and 4 units left.
Was that the most challenging period of the business?
I think yeah, but by that time you're also a bit of a seasoned campaigner and a wee bit, do you want to keep it, then fight for it. If you really, really want it, then you're going to have to put up with the pain. That's what I did.
And how did you overcome that challenge?
Well, I've got a great team here, and Brian, my FD, fantastic. Giving the banks the information what they wanted, daily. He was advancing it before they even asked for it. He knew it, and along with Milne Craig, or chartered accountants, they knew their numbers, they knew the figures. That's what they do. I'm the guy with the vision. I'm the guy with the ideas. I'm the guy with the mouth, as you can hear, and. Somebody that can put their arms around people. But without that team, we'd have been goners, because, as you know, the banks were really brutal with some major names, major players out there, and made them bankrupt. Well, they never got my house, they never got the garage, they never got the cat house. And the 10 million owed became one, and we did a deal. So,
congratulations.
But that comes with a cost, as we found out when at the start of the pandemic. We went for a CBIL loan 5 years later, even though we're not in debt, making a lot of money at the time. Our bank refused to give us a CBIL loan because we'd done a deal with the previous bankers 5 years before. They're rotten, dirty, slimy bastards. Don't let anybody kid you otherwise. And and if you're listening, you are. You fucking know you are. Anyway, fuck you. I'm still here. Anyway.
But you talk about a team, and I think that's one thing that I've learned when speaking to people like yourself about how important it is to surround yourself by good people. But that's an easy thing to say. How did you actually build this team?
You hire people. You find out if they're good. You trust them. If they're not, well, sadly they have to go. Maybe there's something else they are good at. Always look at the alternatives.
Another thing as well is that success can kind of be intimidating. You talk about 300 staff, 17 million turnover. That's a big operation.
That was back then, yeah, but there was a lot of managers.
Did you just need to strap a pair of balls on and deal with that, or how do you know how to deal with that?
I don't think strapping a pair of balls on was ever a problem for me. I think I always had that. You've got to be able to talk to people. You've got to be able to brass neck it. You've got to be able to stand at doors. And not just deal with the BAMs that will turn up at your door, or the organised crime that turns up at your door, but equally sometimes your own stewards, who could be part of an organised, group.
And so what's next for the business? Is there challenges ahead? Is there a vision ahead, and what is that?
I want to see the industry grow, but you know what difference now, today, than back then? I want to see it grow for other people as well. And that is a huge difference, and that's where, as a voice of the industry, when I've actually found myself sticking up for the wee guy, or the competitor, or the person that you didn't like, or you that's a big change. That's been a huge change to me, and largely successful in that. The other thing is, it's coming up is I believe that you should always try and give back something, and I found myself within that period, which was another journey of almost 20 years chairing the Nordoff Robbins music therapy charity, both the management side and the events side. Another great team, you know, managers, top promoters, all getting together, which had never happened before. And now we do the Scottish Music Awards, which again, I think that's in its 15th year, and this year will be at the Barrowlands to raise money for such a vital charity.
And if you could look back in your amazing career and the journey of your idea from promoter of a little club to sitting behind the desk in the big chair, and if you could impart one piece of wisdom, if you could boil that down into one nugget of advice or piece of wisdom to the next Donald Macleod that's sitting somewhere thinking, I want to open a club or even just get into business, what would be your advice from your adventure?
When you get an idea and you want to do something, fucking try it, because you know, you might never get that chance again. I mean, there'll be people there that'll say, yes, well, go and check out the cost, the expenditure against the profit. Make sure you've got your business plan laid out. Make sure that that's all true. But you know, underneath it, the biggest thing is to want to do it. It's to believe you can do it. And don't fucking take no for an answer.